The Influence of the Five Worlds of Satan on Human Societies, Part 2. Testimony of a former Satanist. The story of my life really began in 2003. Back then my mother was suffering from a mystical sickness. Men of God came to pray for her sickness occasionally during her sickness while her situation was deteriorating and aggravating as she was heading to her death. Mother said to us, "My children, I can see people leading me to a mountain. They have brought me clothes. I can see that they are taking me inside the car in order to transport me deep inside the forest." Before passing out my mother said, "This is happening because the lady who is our landlord has offered me an African loincloth as a gift. It is thanks to this cloth that the landlord has bought my soul. Please, my children, go buy an African loincloth and give it to her." Immediately my sister went to the market and bought the African loincloth so that we can give it to the landlord. I was doing sport back then. I took that loincloth from my sister and I went to see the landlord. I said to her, "Madam, I have come to tell you this is the loincloth you gave my mother. I have come to give you back your clothes so that you can leave my mother alone. I don't want to hear you mention the name of my mother again. And the day I hear my mother complaining about you, I will kill you. If I don't kill you, it will be a sin, for I have failed to carry out my promise." Strangely, this lady was unfazed by my threat. She said to me, "You're gonna have to drop this loincloth in the toilet." Since I was ignorant, I said, "I don't mind dropping it in the toilet. There is nothing special about it." Immediately I went to the toilet and I dropped the loincloth. As a result, my mother died on that very day at 10 p.m. I came to the realization that I was outsmarted and overcome by the landlord. She went as far as killing my mother despite my warning, yet I warned her not to mention her name. After burying my mother, I made up my mind to avenge the death of my mother at all costs. The landlord had to pay with her life. Initiation in Japanese mysticism. Later on, I joined an opera group where we were doing drama. One day a leading actor told me, "I can see that you are acting and playing very well. However, I want to tell you that despite your talent, people will not notice you and be interested in your acting, for all the attention will be on me. They will not see you." I was stunned by his speech. I said, "How can you praise my talent on one hand, and on the other hand, you say that I will not be noticed?" The actor replied to me, "Your star is bright, but it is covered by something preventing it from shining. Your star is like inside an egg or coconut shell. You're going to need to break the egg for it to show in order to allow your star to shine. That way you will make an impact on life." I asked the actor, "How can I enable the light of my star to reach the world?" He replied to me, "We will talk when we have finished the work and I will direct you." It was on that day that this actor led me to the Japanese occultic order called Mahikari. Mahikari is a Japanese religious movement founded in 1963 by Yoshikazu Okada. The name, Mahikari, means true light, in Japanese, being a compilation of the words Ma and Hikari. The stated aim of the organization is to help people improve the quality of their lives and attain happiness by practicing universal principles and a method of spiritual purification called the art of true light. In truth, this is an occultic order. And the true light is Jesus Christ. These movie and musical celebrities are deeply in the occult. Fame in this world is in the hand of Lucifer. When I went for the first time in this church, I had no money, but after the service, I saw that everybody was interested in me. They were greeting me and giving me money for transport, and this was good money. Since I was struggling, I was encouraged to come again because of the goodness of these adept of this secret order. I was told that I am supposed to receive light. On that day, the leader told me, "Today, you shall sleep a deep sleep like never before. And if a witch ever sees you in the morning, she may tell you that you have become a witch." On that night, things happened exactly as the leader said. I slept deeply. When I woke up in the morning, an old woman told me, "When I look at you, my son, I fear you for what you have become." This meant nothing to me. However, I remember that our minister told me that a witch may tell me that I had become a witch. This old lady was actually a witch. I failed to ask myself why a witch was telling me that I have become a witch like her. When I began to attend this cult regularly, I was waiting to be asked to introduce my request about the brightness of my star and the death of my landlord, yet it was taking time, for they never asked me to do so. There came a moment in this secret order, we were told that the country had to be purified in order to allow spiritual activity as there was a blockage. The so-called purification was meant to allow the spiritual activity of this Japanese order. One day our minister told me, if you want money and fame, you're going to need to sow a seed of $100. As a result, we will pray for you and your spirit will travel beneath the water, where you will see all the generation of your family starting with your first ancestors. They have great wealth in the marine kingdom, you're going to need it. Brother, there are churches that are secret orders of lodges. These churches are a cultic order. When you give your money they can block you. Months later, I was initiated and given sacred objects that people were not supposed to see. When I came to this church, in the beginning, it was difficult to know that this church was about magic. I saw men of God, I saw public figures and celebrities. I thought there was nothing wrong. When the teaching began, we were told, you should not profit from people's blood and tears. These are the poison of souls. In that teaching, the focus was on the soul of man where his intellect and reason are. In fact, the practice of magic is about the use of your mind and intellect. You got to use your mind otherwise you shall become crazy. They want you to use your mind in order to meet the needs of your body while your spirit is blocked from having a relationship with God. After being initiated in this order, I was supposed to learn to work with spirits, deliverance, permutation of demons and the goddess Lilith. My first satanic experience happened in the Catholic Church. This happened when a Catholic member of the local parish fell sick. She was brought to a Catholic priest for prayer. I was instructed to attend the deliverance and prayer of the Catholic priest for the healing of this lady, but I wondered what was the link between Mahikari and the Roman Catholic religion. I was told it was a must that I had to attend this prayer. When the lady was taken to the priest for prayer I joined them in the parish. Immediately I saw the priest lighting candles and burning incense. Brothers and sisters, whenever you see people doing prayer with candles or incense, it's definitely magic and mysticism. Yet there are churches in the city that are asking members to come with candles for prayer. I will advise you to leave such a church when your pastor began to use candles. Watch out. We were in the parish praying for the healing of this sister. The Roman Catholic priest told me that the smoke of the incense chases away unclean spirits, but in truth, the smoke of incense invites unclean spirits to come wherever it is burned in order to act in relation to a special need. At first, I saw the priest praying in his heart. Then he began to utter a word that I could not understand. The priest was praying for the healing of this lady. As a result, I saw a man coming out of the body of this lady. This was actually a humanoid demon. It was my first time to see a demon. I was scared. The priest told me, what I am doing now is not my level. These are things you are supposed to do. I am doing this so that you can be accustomed to unseen spirits for you are supposed to master them. They are not supposed to master you. Brother, when this demon came out of this lady, the demon said to the priest, I don't understand why you are trying to cast me out but I'm not in her body illegally. It makes no sense. She owed me things. Therefore I have legality over her. Since this lady has things that belong to me, I decided to take her life. Somehow I'm running into some opposition for 9 months. I will definitely kill her and conquer her soul. So the priest said to this demon, since I am involved in this matter, things must change. The priest told me, you needed to see these spirits because you have to work with them. God's angels serve God's children and demons serve Satanists and the witches. The witches are the last in the hierarchy of the dark world. The devil removes the intelligence of witches and replace their minds and hearts so that they would become heartless. That way, they will react without their mind with evil instinct. While I was in this parish, I saw the priest debating the demon. In the end, the priest said to the demon, since the lady owed you things, give her 9 months so that she can pay what she owed you, then you can take her life. The priest said to this unclean spirit, this is the deal I propose to you. You're going to stay out of the body of this lady with your sickness. I am going to call the queen of prostitution, the mistress Lilith. She will indwell the lady and she will replace you so that she would come under her manipulation into fornication and seduction. When this lady would be deep in prostitution, she would be rejected and cursed by people, then you can take her life. Then the demon agreed to prolong the life of this lady for 9 months. Immediately I saw the priest summoning the queen of seduction and mistress of the sea, Lilith, and the female demon, Lilith came out of the marine kingdom and she entered the lady. At that moment, the lady was healed of her condition, and when she was healed, she launched herself in a lifestyle of prostitution. The spirit of the sickness that was hell-bent in killing her became her monitoring spirit, for this demon was following her everywhere she went, while the queen of sexual immorality Lilith was influencing her in prostitution. Everybody was upset, for her prostitution was scandalous and people could not bear her. They were actually cursing her for her immoral life. Since people killed her with their words, the demon organized a traffic accident where she was hit by a car in the street and she died. I came to understand that this so-called prayer of the Catholic priest was actually a permutation of the unclean spirits. The spirit of sickness was removed and replaced by the spirit of prostitution. This is precisely the deliverance that happened in the church of false prophets. They removed sickness in people's bodies and people are healed, but their soul and spiritual lives are handed to the devil, like this lady. People who are healed in the churches of the false prophets, their lives take a turn after their healing. Thus many people are healed in the churches of the false prophets. In truth, this is a permutation of demons. The demon of sickness leave its place to let another spirit take over. The ultimate aim of these unclean spirits is the soul of the person that is healed. Many healing and deliverance in churches of false prophets are permutation of demons, for Satan cannot chase Satan. Every kingdom divided against itself will be laid waste, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. If Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can his kingdom stand? Matthew 12:25-26. Necromancy. After this experience, I was sent to the cemetery to do the cult of the dead called necromancy. We were doing great prayer in the cemetery. And when we pray, even if you hit my body, I will not feel anything, because we were reaching a high level of concentration. That was actually another environment that we were reaching. I was invoking deads in the cemetery. Thank God, for I was not asked to offer a human being as a sacrifice. I was evolving in this Japanese mysticism. I was in our church of Mahikari. The service was about to begin when suddenly I began to sing a gospel song that I heard on the radio, which says, "You can deprive me of all the things of the world, but don't deprive me of Jesus who died for me." I was singing this song subconsciously in my heart, and this song was repeating itself in my heart. While I was in the lodge, I tried to stop this song, but it continued to play in my heart. Finally, I decided to go back home. This song initiated the process of my repentance. Spiritual conflict out of body in the 5 worlds of Satan. Later on, I was summoned to attend a vigil prayer in the lodge. On that night, I went to church to attend the vigil prayer. In that service, we learned that a pastor was stopping our prayer. He was destroying the vigil. He was blocking our communication in magic prayer. Our leader decided that he was to die. This was the pastor of the Philadelphia church. Our prayer could no longer travel to Angola and South Africa, for this pastor was blocking this region and we could not operate. The pastor was unaware of the plot against his life. We were supposed to perform an astral journey and leave our bodies in order to execute this mission. It was night when the minister began to tell us about the danger of out-of-body journey. The minister said, each family in the land has a link or covenant with the unseen world. Some are linked with the marine world, some are linked to the world of forest, others are linked to the cosmic world of space. There are families that are linked to the kingdom of the cemetery. The minister said, if your family is in covenant with the marine kingdom, when you leave your body and you go to the unseen world such as the marine kingdom, you will see your ancestors starting from the 1st generation, the 2nd generation, and many members of your family are there with their wealth. They will welcome you and bless you with money. But when a stranger gives you something in the marine kingdom, don't take it, for he will ask for your blood in return. The minister said, there are people that have died prematurely and unjustly. They visited the kingdom underwater, and they are not allowed to leave the marine kingdom. This is how a famous musical celebrity was stopped from returning to his body when he performed the astral journey. The minister said, in case your family is in covenant with the forest, your spirit will travel to the unseen world of forest called the pestifera world, which is the dwelling of demons of the forest, bush, mountain, where your family will receive you. In case your family often go to the cemetery for the commemoration of the dead, you are definitely linked to the world of the cemetery called the Cro-Magnon world, the underworld, that where your spirit will go. The 5 worlds of Satan are the Cro-Magnon world which is the underworld. The Kabbalistic world is the marine world. The cosmic world is the second heaven. The Pandemonium world is the capital of the kingdom of Satan. The Pestifera world is the dwelling of demons of forest, bushes, and mountains. Brother, I saw our musical celebrities in the satanic world in the unseen world in 2008. He had died in 1997, but this happened in 2008. On that day, I was in the lodge and the minister asked us whether we wanted to see the late celebrities or not. We responded, he is dead already. How can we see him? He said, this celebrity is dead in our world, but he is serving Satan in the unseen world. I see him every time I travel to the unseen world of Satan, and I want you to see him. Brother, when the minister prayed, in a split second, we landed in an unknown world populated with human and humanoid demons. This mysterious world was not different from the human world. And we saw our late celebrity who died many years ago in this mysterious dimension. When we landed in this mysterious world, I saw our late celebrity. I wondered, where am I? I was shocked for this hidden world was not very much different from ours. There were people getting on with life like in our world. I was confused. In this world, I saw a lady braiding people's hair. She told our minister, please sir, when you go back, tell my children in this specific address in the city center. It's me, their mother. They are fighting about my compound. You're going to tell them not to sell that compound. I am here because I wanted to have money and houses, including those houses that they want to sell. As you can see, I'm braiding people's hair here in this mysterious world and I cannot stop. I must continue to do it without rest and I am suffering. This lady signed a pact with the satanic world for wealth. She died and her soul was serving the devil in this mysterious world. In this journey, I saw our musical celebrity. He traveled to this world of Satan but he was unable to come back to earth. He was there in the Pandemonium world where the demon of music has the head of a horse's head. This celebrity used to sing about this demon called Sanka. Others call this demon Baphomet. Understand that Baphomet is the minister of music in the Pandemonium world. But each of the 5 worlds of Satan has a minister in charge of music and each of the 5 worlds of Satan has a government and ministers. The minister in charge of music in the cosmic world is different from Baphomet who is the minister of the Pandemonium world. The minister of music in the Cro-Magnon world is different from the minister of music in the cosmic world. For each world of Lucifer has his government. There is a proliferation of Satanism in music in the music industry and in the church. A pastor in the city said to his members, just imagine a specific amount of top-up credit in your phone, and you shall have it as you have imagined it. And it happened exactly as he said it. This is happening in the church. This is red magic, invented by a goddess of space. We all know the song called Maria Valencia of our late celebrity Wemba. Everybody thought this celebrity was singing for his girlfriend. In truth, he was singing for this space goddess worshipped in the Catholic Church as Our Lady the Holy Virgin. This so-called Holy Virgin is the mother of Zeus, the Greek of god thunder, who is Jupiter in Roman mythology. The Queen of Heaven Maria Valencian was pregnant for 3 years. And she delivered her son the god of war called Zeus, who has invented red magic, which is the most brutal and bloodiest form of magic. Zeus is the god of the sky, lightning, and the thunder in ancient Greek religion and legends and ruler of all the gods on Mount Olympus. Zeus is the 6th child of Kronos and Rhea. In the Asian continent, he is worshipped as Buddha. This goddess Maria is the Holy Virgin of the Catholic Church. On that day in the vigil prayer, the minister outlined the danger of leaving the body and traveling out of the body. Many people went out of the body and traveled to the 5 worlds of Satan, but they failed to come back to the human world. A man who traveled to the unseen kingdom of forest was prevented from coming back to his body by a demon of the forest and he is stuck in the pestifera world where he continues his life. The minister gave us a lot of information about the worlds of Satan and the danger of the journey out of the body. We were supposed to destroy this pastor that lives in the proximity of our church. Whenever a Christian say in prayer, Lord, I take authority and possession of this area. I block all communication, all movement and all activity, brother, the place will be quarantined, and there will be a blockade through his prayer. This pastor was paralyzing spiritual traffic in the air, thanks to the celestial army who are undefeated and unconquered. Satanists and witches could not communicate and travel in this blockade. The victory of the army of the Lord is in the name of the Lord, and they don't know defeat. When I was in conflict with churches, there were God's children that were fighting spiritual warfare in the air against the forces of darkness. The demon that was ruling our country has his abode in the southeast region. Whenever the devil came to the country, he is the one that is accountable to the devil. This principality represented our country in many Luciferian meetings on the continent. Often the devil asked for reports about a targeted human that is supposed to die. The principality of our country would say, "I already signed his death warrant and I passed the file to our provincial representative." The provincial representative will be called so that he can confirm that he signed and passed the file to the demon ruling his borough. Then this demon ruling the borough of the target will confirm that he signed and passed the case to the demon who ruled the street of the targeted person. And this demon ruler of the street will confirm that he signed and passed the case to the demon who dwells in the toilet of the house of the targeted person that is to die. In every toilet of every house, there is a demon, a delegate of the satanic world. This queen of the toilet will confirm that she had received the agreement of the family of the targeted person. For in every family there is a witch who is a representative of Lucifer, who is supposed to give authorization to the satanic world to act in his family. This is the structure of the organization of Satan. The devil has established authority even in your borough, in your quarter, in your street. And in every toilet, the devil has delegated the Queen Jacqueline, and in every family, he makes sure that there is a witch that will be his representative. On that day in the vigil prayer, when it was time to sleep, the minister said, "When we leave our body, each one of you will have a candle. Everyone must keep his candle shining, do not put it out." Then we all went to sleep. When we slept, suddenly, I saw that we stood in a pyramid shape. Understand that the pyramid is high magic. The source of magic is Egypt. I would not go in depth about this now. When we came out of our body in order to kill the pastor, quickly we headed to his house. Curiously, I did not see the wall of his house or his bed. I came to realize that I was a spirit without a body. I understood that the house where we sleep protects us against weather conditions and thieves. When unclean spirits come to the house of a Christian, they don't need even see the walls of his house, as the walls do not appear to them. I saw that the pastor was sleeping, but we could not see his bed since the walls of his house were non-existent. We entered his house, we got closer to him. As soon as we got closer, we saw that he was no longer lying there before us. I saw that he was lying in a distance of 100 meters, as if his house has moved away from us. We could see him from a distance. Whenever we tried to approach him, his house was moving away from us. We were confused about this phenomenon. The minister told us, "One of you have put out his light." When we checked, we saw that one candle was put out, and then we lighted the candle again. This time around, when we got closer to the pastor, a huge river appeared between the pastor and us. Thus we were unable to touch the pastor. We were standing before that river. Finally, we did magic prayer in order to contact the marine kingdom. As a result, they provided us with a boat and we crossed the river. This time when we got closer to the pastor who was sleeping, I saw that he was a torch of fire. He was shining and burning. We were about to touch him. Suddenly I saw that the pastor was sleeping between enormous feet of a soldier who was holding a sword. When I lifted my eyes to observe this warrior, it was a stampede. I was raising my eyes toward the knee of this warrior who was dressed in a soldier uniform. I ran away before my eyes even reached the knees of this soldier, who was holding a massive sword. Brother, often people hear pastors preaching the Bible. They think these are just stories, but I saw with my eyes, the reality of the spirit world, and my understanding of God changed completely. When you see the spiritual world, you know that the seriousness of the things of God. I used to hear about the Lord being the strong warrior, even gospel singers composed songs about the Lord being a warrior. They just sang, but they have not seen it. I saw that this colossal and tall warrior was holding us. He was as tall as a skyscraper. This protective cherub said nothing and did nothing. He just stood there watching. And when we saw how massive this soldier was, we were terrified and we scattered. We fulfilled the word of God, for we came in one direction and we were scattered in all direction. The Lord shall cause your enemies that rise up against you to be defeated before your face. They shall come out against you one way, and flee before you 7 ways. Deuteronomy 28:7. Yet this angelic soldier never did anything to us. He was roughly 200 meters. I have always wondered what would happen if this warrior ever took action against us. In truth, we would not be able to escape. The Lord is merciful. He knew that I will serve him. This warrior was the protective cherub. This angel of the Lord was tremendous.